Hello guys, welcome back to my channel once again. In this video, I'll be giving you guys the full details of the historical match of India beating Nigeria 99-1. It was unbelievable and incredible. The Green Eagles of Nigeria had been walloped 99-1 by a little known Indian team. If you have never heard of this historical match, then you must belong to the Indomie generation in Nigeria. Now, before we move further, if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification button to get notified every time I drop a video. Peter Rufai as well as Emmanuel Okala were the goalkeepers that day. It was an unforgettable day and a football match that ended Indian football journey as they were banned by FIFA, the World Football Governing Body, for scoring too many goals, allegedly for using voodoo in a friendly soccer match. One of the players said each time they needed to kick the ball, they noticed a ball of fire. This drew them back each time and the Indian attacked them much more intensely. Peter Rufai, who would have saved the day for Nigeria, stated that each and every time the ball approached him, he saw a lion instead, and that was why Nigeria lost ingloriously and shamelessly that day. No one could really tell when the match was played, the exact day nor the exact date, but the venue could be predicted. The National Stadium in Lagos, it is the only stadium in the country then that could stage a match of that magnitude. A few months after the Nigerian Civil War, the military governor of Lagos, Brigadier General Mobolaji Johnson, decided to stage an exhibition match at the National Stadium to help Lagosians forget the bloody 30-month war that just ended. Johnson wanted to stage the match against Ghana, but he was advised against it. His advisor reminded him of how Ghana trashed Nigeria 3-0 at the Independence Day match in 1960, and another loss to Ghana would defeat the purpose of the exhibition match. His advisor suggested that they choose a team that would be very easy to beat, and he agreed. Ethiopia, Zimbabwe were considered. The United States of America was also mentioned, and finally India was suggested. Johnson and his advisor believed that India would be a walkover and the country was chosen. When India agreed to play the exhibition match against Nigeria, they were overjoyed and the Indians went ahead and gave them three special conditions. 1. The match must be played barefooted, that is without soccer boots. Secondly, each goal scored by India will count as 3 goals. And finally, if Nigeria eventually score a goal, India would concede defeat. Consider it fair enough as they resigned themselves to Indian inexperience in football. However, they did not anticipate the strategic dexterity and of course the mythical voodoo the Indian would bring to fall. Into the match, the Algerian referee Mohamed Tauti blew his whistle to begin the game after the 22 players of both sides had filed into the pitch barefooted. The spectators screamed in excitement as Indians kick off the game, and before the fans had taken their seat, the Indians drew the first blood. They had their first goal, 3-0. The Indian fans went wild with jubilation. The Nigeria team did not believe what just happened. They had hardly settled when the Indians scored the first goal of the game. The Nigeria striker kicked off, but as they passed the ball to one another, they were surprised when an Indian striker grabbed the ball from the midfield and shoot into the air as the Nigeria goalkeeper dived to the wrong side and the Indians had their second goal, 6-0. The Nigeria could not believe it. Okala looked morose and confused. They had thought that the Indian team would be easy to beat. Alas, they were wrong. Nevertheless, the Indians were going wild with jubilation and ecstasis. The whistle was blown and the Nigerian forward passed to each other. Haruna Ilerika passed the ball into the Nigerian half to Christian Chukwu, but Chukwu lost concentration and an injured striker disposed him and sat down towards the penalty box. Okala rushed out, but he was not as quick as the opposition striker, who tumbled into the box. After a weak contact with Okala, it was a penalty. Tauti pointed to the spot. The players could not believe it as their protest fell on deaf ears. To add insult upon injury, the Algerian referee brandished a yellow card to the goalkeeper Emmanuel Okala. The Indian strikers stepped up and blast into the top left corner, and it was another goal, making it 9-0. 3 games in the opening 10 minutes. The Nigerian spectators were dazed, wondering what could be the matter. Their side of the stadium was silent as the graveyard, but the Indians were shouting at the top of their voices. On the 25th minute, the Indians were leading with 30-0, and the Nigerian players had not near Indian goal territory. In fact, the Indian goalkeeper had not touched the ball at all. However, 2 minutes later, Ilerika charged toward and However, 2 minutes later, Ilerica charged forward on a solo run with the ball, and as he neared the Indian goal territory, he raised his foot to shoot, but he slipped and fell, twisting his ankle in the process. Ilerica laid on the turf, groaning and mourning like a baby, while the Indian defender quickly played the loose ball away. That was the nearest and clearest chance the Green Eagles ever had. Ilerica was then brought up for another striker. 18 minutes later, the score stood at 54-0 as Tauti blew to sign the end of the first half. Meanwhile, in the Nigeria dressing room, the head coach of the Green Eagles, Otto Gloria, was furious and angry. Can someone just explain what in the heavens happened back then? Gloria's phone, but no one dared to speak up. Okala, you are the damn captain. Answer me, he shouted, but Okala was speechless and at the same time angry. Then Christian Chukwu interjected, those Indians are using juju. They are using black magic. Yes, the rest of the team echoed in Chukwu's assertion and murmured among themselves. Will you keep quiet, said their head coach. Magic my foot. There is no magic in football, and you are all going out there in the next 45 minutes to prove me right. Gloria substituted Okala and brought in Peter Rufai to replace him. However, when the Nigeria kicked off the game to commence the second half, the match was full of mysterious occurrences that were unbelievable to the human eyes. According to the players, they were the only ones who saw and felt it, but to the spectator and coach, it was just a normal football match. Each time the Nigeria wanted to kick the ball, the player alleged they saw a ball of fire. The goalkeeper, Peter Rufai, also said that each time an Indian player approached him, he saw a lion roaring toward him and a ball of fire. For one of the goals, he purportedly ran away only to hear the crowd roaring and cursing him on why he would leave his spot. He turned back to see the ball at the back of the net. Players on many occasions complained to the Algeria referee about the despicable situation. However, the referee, being a citizen of a country where such complex technology was unheard of, refused to believe their complaint and ordered the match to go on. This would go on until a courageous Nigerian striker reached the roaring lion's head and fired the ball into the net. The ball was said to have turned into stone just before he did so. Nevertheless, he went ahead to kick the stone ball and he was said to have dropped dead just after he saw the ball into the net. His bravery paid off and Nigeria won the match due to his lone goal, though as it was said, the striker lost his life in the process. However, the Indians had already scored 99 goals, but the death of the striker brought an end to the match. In light of this, FIFA banned India for playing football for years because the India might adopt black magic to manipulate international matches. Quickly, let's analyze the match. Now, let us agree the match was played, but a friendly match played in the 70s in a national stadium like Lagos should have enough publicity and record. Moreover, there is no record of the match in the archive of the football governing bodies of both countries. No radio, no television, no newspaper record of the event. Even the popular newspaper back then, the Daily Times, would have screamed it on their banner headline. Another scenario is that the striker who scored the lone goal died immediately after he scored, but who could it have been? However, the proponent of this fairy tale said it was Samuel Okparaji, but Okparaji died of heart failure on August 12, 1989 during a FIFA World Cup qualifying match against Angola in the 77th minute. This proved another flaw in the story. Also, counting one goal as 3 goals in a friendly match is against FIFA rules. Lastly, most of the players, especially Peter Rufai, mentioned in the story, were not fully fledged international as of 1970. In fact, some of them were just toddlers if we would go by that date. I must salute whoever concocted this story. It caught most people off guard, since no one has ever seen India participated in an international football game, especially the FIFA World Cup. This gave minutes credence to the story to convince most little minds. Nevertheless, the reason India does not participate in the World Cup is that they do not qualify. So it was a fable after all. It was not a true story. There was never a time India played Nigeria not to talk of scoring such numbers of goals. It was one of football tales by moonlight. In conclusion, the match never happened. Thanks for staying to this point of the video. In case you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification button to get notified every time I drop a video.